And welcome. It's Mary Ellen McGonagle here with your weekly Edge show for Friday, December 22nd. Today, as always, we're going to take a look at where the markets closed for the week and then beyond. Take a look at some of these sectors that are continuing to remain strong and other areas that are remaining weak. Beyond that, we'll also take a look beneath these sectors because you also want to have a good understanding of where the strength within a given sector is emanating from, all with an eye toward helping you to participate in that outperformance. Also, we will take a look at some of the headline news that drove price action last week. And last up, viewer question of the week. And this question is all about small caps and the sharp advance last week. I'll share with you some stocks in that smaller cap valuation area that are just entering into new uptrends. So first up, with news from last week, we did see November housing starts. They jumped to their highest level since May, and we also saw existing home sales rise for the first time in 6 months. Of course, everything to do with a declining interest rate environment with mortgages getting lower as well. We did see December consumer confidence remain strong. However, when the third quarter GDP revised data was released, it did show lower consumer spending than was first anticipated, but again, still quite high. Most impactful last week should have been, but we didn't see a big response, today's core PCE data. And this is a key metric that the Federal Reserve closely watches to key in on and gauge how inflation is faring. And the number did come in as anticipated, showing that inflation is continuing to taper. And this is very good news, certainly for that declining rate environment, which is quite constructive for the broader markets. From here, let's take a look. Where did the markets close for the week? Here we are with the daily price chart of the S&P 500. And as you can see, this uptrend that began shape early November is very much in a confirmed uptrend. We have this RSI up here in positive territory, and likewise with the stochastics. We did see a pretty sharp pullback on Wednesday that pushed the stochastics downward. We will be keeping an eye on this. At this point in time, it is not concerning. It's not until if we were to potentially break below that net neutral 50. We are also on the lookout with this RSI back into an overbought position. But again, that Wednesday pullback did serve as some relief. So we are in good standing with the broader markets. Let's go ahead from here and take a look at those underlying 11 sectors. This is a 2-month daily price chart view. I've added an RSI and then sorted these sectors in descending order. So up here, we have those that have been strong of late, and down in this lower quartile, weaker areas. So up here at the forefront, industrials, they did underperform for the week overall, but the group remains strong. We're seeing certainly a lot of vibrancy among heavy construction related names. And then also another area that I'm going to share with you as we review those small cap names that are newer to their uptrends. Also up here at the forefront are REIT names. REITs do fare well in a declining interest rate environment as they allow these REITs to expand their portfolios by using cheaper funds as interest rates decline. The group this week did underperform, but is holding in really quite nicely. As we move through, I'm going to share with you the technology sector. It did underperform this week, but it had everything to do with both Apple and Microsoft both underperforming as well. However, we can see that overall the tech sector remains in a nice uptrend. It was certainly first out of the gate in November with those Magnificent Seven stocks and is due a pause, but still in a nice confirmed uptrend. Moving through these other various sectors, I did want to share with you that communication services was the number one performer. It was up 2.4%. Everything to do with Alphabet, Meta, and Netflix, each outperforming by a pretty wide margin, helping this group continue to trend higher. And then last up, we can take a quick look here at energy, XLE, and this particular sector did outperform. We are seeing the sector in the throes of potentially reversing its downtrend. We have a positive RSI and MACD, but from my work, I'm not seeing broadening out enough by way of vibrancy in the underlying groups to have interest yet at this point. Let's go ahead and take a look at some of the more refined groups within the markets beyond those sectors. I use ETFs that are very helpful in, again, defining where that outperformance is so that you can make sure that you are participating. Here we are with home builders. I talked about the bullish economic data that came out. This is XHB, and we can see that after a sharp advance earlier this month, it is in a consolidation phase. However, the group did outperform the broader markets, and we are still very much in a confirmed uptrend among those home builders. Also up here at the forefront, IWM. This is the Russell 2000, up 2.3%, well above the S&P. You can see this sharp gap up earlier this month, and the group is continuing to trend higher. I'm going to share with you with IWM, Russell 2000, a weekly chart, and you can see that over the last several weeks, we've been in a nice confirmed uptrend. We have been able to break above the highs from earlier this year, which is all very good news because we're also seeing nice high volume on this weekly chart with the MACD just entering positive territory. So very constructive look for these small cap names. We'll get into a couple of stocks as we move through here. Other areas to be aware of, IHI, medical devices, they've been on the move, but just this past week, they've continued to advance above this key 200-day simple moving average. We have this green 10-day up through the 200, which is a golden cross formation. So this is another area where there are select names that are on the move higher. One area that is newer as well is biotech names, IBB. Now, this advance sharp here was from more than a week ago, but you can see that after a nice orderly pullback to this 10-day moving average, biotech's back on the move higher. This is another area where a longer term chart will smooth out the daily fluctuations and give you a good sense that we are back above these highs from prior in the year. If we can get above this January high, we should see further upside among these vibrant biotechnology stocks. Last up, we're going to take a look at the yield on the 10-year. And of course, we want this to be trending lower. We are down here at a 3.9% level on that yield, which is very good news. Of course, we would like to see a continuation of this declining mode. However, at this point, we may see the yields rest a bit here before any kind of movement beyond. But again, at the end of the day, below that 4% level is very good news for the broader markets. From here, I did want to share with you again some of these smaller cap names that are of interest. And first up here is TNK. This is TK Tankers, and it is one name or one area in the energy space that is interesting because I do want to share with you some of the technical metrics that are shaping up here and also share with you that as a tanker, it is more in the marine transportation group as opposed to being in the energy area. While it does advance and move energy, it is more in the industrial group. I'll highlight why that's important. But let's take a look at this price action that's shaping up here with TNK. We can see this black line up through the red on that MACD. Nice high volume as we pivot into a nice uptrend in line with the stock's advance above each of its moving averages. Now in a nice confirmed uptrend. Last up, this particular stock also, as it continued to advance last week, broke out of a nice 8-week base and is poised to trade higher from here. One other stock that is related to TNK is ticker symbol NAT, another small cap, and as you can see in the industrial marine transportation space, and it is exhibiting similar price action where it had this sharp pullback from which it has been able to recover, and by that I mean it has moved back above each of its moving averages, which can often act as upside resistance. Nice high volume on that downtrend reversal that shaped up here, and then just today the MACD entered into positive territory above that net neutral zero with the RSI trending higher. One other area, I talked about housing stocks being on the move. I will share with you another small cap stock that's involved in the housing market in the sense that they provide mortgage lending. And here we are with Essent Group, ESNT, and the stock is emerging from a lengthy base. If we take a look at this August high, this pullback, and then this month it has formed the right side of the base so that it is just today breaking out of a nice 5-month base with your metrics RSI and MACD trending higher and above 50. So a very constructive looking small cap name. I'm going to leave it there. Everyone have a fantastic holiday weekend. I'll look for you again here next Friday.